The UFC is back. We have made it to UFC 324. Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. It has been an insanely long, tough 6 weeks where I've just been yelling at my TV as Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges and the Knicks ruined my entire life. But that's besides the point. UFC 324 is absolutely stacked. We have Justin Gaethje trying to become the first ever two-time interim champion in UFC history, and he's fighting Paddy Pimblett, who is trying to become the interim lightweight champion. We have Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong in the co-main because Kayla Harrison and Emmanuel Nunes are gone. Then we have Derrick Lewis and Waldo Cortes-Acosta, Jean Silva, Arnold Allen, Umar versus Figueiredo, Gautier is on this card, Charles Johnson, Josh Hokit. We have a ton of names on this card, but let's start off with the early prelim opener of Ty Miller versus Adam Fugitt. Forget about it. It almost sounds like a slur, Adam. We're gonna call you Adam. We're not even gonna say your last name. I'm not gonna overthink this. I'm gonna take Ty Miller. These are two random welterweights. I think Ty Miller, he's making his debut. Fought in the Contender Series. I think he fought Eric Nolan early on in his professional career in Cage Fury, which I believe is in, where's that, Philadelphia? I actually don't know. Adam Fugitt. I can't say this guy's Fugitt. Forget about it. He's 37. He's 2-3 in the UFC, but he's fought some names, like got finished by Islam Dulatov, who's that model over the summer, got subbed by Mike Malott back in 2023. Also got TKO finished by Michael Morales in his UFC debut. That's a tough loss for my guy Adam. Forget about it. But listen, 0 bad losses. Could see him winning by decision, like a little crafty decision from the 37-year-old. But I'm going to take the younger, longer, more athletic Ty Miller by second round TKO. We're starting off the card with a banger. Moving up to the card to kind of the only two. These are really the only two fights I truly don't care about. Ricky Turcios versus Cameron Smotherman. I'm going to go with Cameron Smotherman. Again, not really overthinking this. I think Smotherman wins this by decision. Turcios is 2-3 of the UFC. Lost to Chiwiwis. I think he got finished there. Lost to Ayman Zahabi. Did beat, what's his name? Brady Highstand, which is actually a decent win. Sorry if I mispronounced his name. And Smotherman beat Jake Hadley in his debut and then has lost his last two. One of those being to Ricky Simone. These guys are decision merchants. I'm just going to take Cameron Smotherman. Just a little bit younger, more athletic. I'm not just saying that because he's black. I'm just going to take him by decision. Up the card, we go to Josh Hokit versus Denzel Freeman. A heavyweight matchup I'm actually very excited to see. And also the first matchup where I'm like, oh, we're getting to the good stuff now. Josh Hokit, fun, athletic heavyweight. Denzel Freeman also is pretty athletic and decent. Hokit coming off of a win in his UFC debut over that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, whatever, Max Jimenez, in the Apex, where he completely fucking destroyed the guy. And Freeman is coming off of a really boring win over Marek Bujilo, where they both made their UFC debut in Qatar. And I think Bujilo's not even in the UFC anymore. They literally cut his ass because the performance was that bad. I lean Hokit here, though. I was tempted to pick Denzel Freeman, but like that performance against Marek Bujilo really turned me off from him, despite the fact that he had actually had a finish in every single one of his UFC fights before that, and even had a submission win over Steven Asplin, I believe, in LFA. And Steven Asplin is this really, hyped up heavyweight prospect. But I think I'm going to lean Hokit here, just more athletic. Kind of does everything that Denzel Freeman does, but does a little bit better and can strike well. The one thing that kind of worries me is Denzel Freeman has significantly longer arms. Let me pull this up over here. It says only like a 3.5-inch reach advantage. I think it's honestly more. I think his arms are even longer than that. And Freeman can defend takedowns well, like actually has skills as a heavyweight, which is why I'm excited for this fight, because these are two interesting prospects. I'm going to lean Hokit by decision, honestly. I think I wrote down here that maybe he wins this by finish. But honestly, Denzel Freeman, I think, is pretty fucking good, can kind of blob on Josh Hokit if needed, and can use his length to, I think, disrupt a lot of the good things Hokit does. But I think Hokit just does more and irks this one out by 29-28 decision. Up the card, we go to Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez. Another fucking banger. Listen, I lean Hernandez here. Michael Johnson's like the J.R. Smith, Dion Waiters of the UFC. You really have no clue what version you're going to get of this guy. Like, maybe more Aaron Aflalo is even at Dion Waiters level, because this dude's literally a 16-15 career fighter in the UFC, literally a career 500 fighter. Like, he could finish Dustin Poirier one day and then lose to an 80-year-old Clay Guida the next. That's just kind of his career. But he's on a 3-fight win streak. Had a real people forget man kind of performance against Daniel Zellhuber in his last fight, and still has decent power, can box still. I remember telling all my boys to put Michael Johnson on their parlays for that fight, and that was a nasty line by me. I don't know what kind of accent I was trying to go for there, but it sucked. Hernandez is on a 4-fight win streak, back-to-back finishes over Chase Hooper, the Gooner, and Carlos Diego Ferreira, whatever the fuck his name is. Who the fuck? And those were kind of fluky wins, man. I mean, Chase Hooper, I think, is an okay win. Diego Ferreira actually was kind of a boring fight. I was kind of waiting for, Diego was kind of hanging in there a little bit, and then Hernandez just bombed on him. And that was a solid win for him. Kind of made me realize, shit, maybe Alexander Hernandez, he's actually working his way up to being ranked in a stacked lightweight division. I think Hernandez can mix his kicks well enough in this and avoid kind of the overhands and slick boxing that Michael Johnson has. And Hernandez also, one thing about him, he constantly moves around the octagon. He's hard to touch up. He can really dictate the pace of the fight and slow it down, which I think would work against Michael Johnson. And I think I see Michael Johnson just getting too aggressive in this fight late, hunting for a finish, and gets caught with something nasty, highlight reel KO. I go Alexander Hernandez by round 2 finish. I really like Michael Johnson. He's never puts on a boring fight, but he's too inconsistent for me to want to pick him. And Hernandez, I think, is on a better run right now and has beaten better comp. I just had a brain fart right there. I'm going with Alexander Hernandez by round 2 TKO. Up the card we go to our boy Charles Johnson, and he's going to be facing off Alex Perez in a flyweight bout. And listen, I also lean Charles Johnson here. Another great matchup. Everybody's favorite 35-year-old prospect, Charles Johnson. I'm going to take him by finish. Perez is good, and he can mix in his leg kicks well along with his grappling, but I think injuries and age have kind of caught up to this guy. Even if I know it says right here he's lost 4 of his last 5, but look at those 4 losses. Guys like Asu Almabayev, Tatsuro Taira, Bukauskas, Pantoja, the guy's losing to really high-level dudes in the division. And the funny thing was, he was up 2-0 on Asu Almabayev in Qatar a few months back, but then he got fucking fluke subbed. I think he got guillotined by Asu Almabayev. I like the run that Johnson's on right now. He's 5-6, has beaten Joshua Van, destroyed Loner Kavanaugh in his last fight. He's a big flyweight. I mean, Alex Perez is a midget. He's 5'6". Charles Johnson's 5'9". He's a massive flyweight. I think he gets this done on the feet. I could see a sneaky guillotine pick for Charles Johnson if Alex Perez kind of blitzes in too much and crashes, and could see him getting subbed. What's it called? Alex Perez gets subbed in so many big fights, but Charles Johnson, I think he's just more likely to get finishes on the feet. Again, I think what happens to this fight is Perez probably takes the first round, maybe even takes the second round. And it's a classic Alex Perez where he looks solid for 2 rounds and then just gets nuked in the third. I could see him kind of blitz in, get into the clinch. And if you're in the clinch with Charles Johnson, buddy, that's a place you don't want to be. You don't want to go to Clinch City with Charles Johnson. He's going to beat his ass in the clinch, possibly with an uppercut or something, in that realm. And I also like Johnson because he could defend takedowns well, has aura. Alex Perez is old. I'm getting Charles Johnson by round 3 finish, and it's going to be a brutal knockout. The uppercut is going to hit Alex Perez so hard, he's going to think he's 30. He's going to think he went back 3 years. That's how badly of a knockout this is going to be. Up the card we go to Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukauskas. This is one of the Cage Doctor locks. I don't like to give out locks that much, but before I get into my lock, I just want 5 seconds of silence for Paul Craig. Rest in peace to Paul Craig. Modestas Bukauskas absolutely destroyed him in their last fight, and Paul Craig's my guy, anybody who knows. But man, Modestas Bukauskas, he's winning this by KO. Nikita Krylov has no chin anymore. It was destroyed by Stony Brook football legend Dominic Reyes, who shattered it back in April. That was supposed to be the start of Dominic Reyes' title run, but that terrorist Carlos Olberg ended it, so whatever. And then whatever was left of Nikita Krylov's chin got destroyed when he fought Bogdan Guskov 2 months later and got destroyed in round 1. Bukauskas 6-1 in the UFC since coming back after the Khalil Roundtree loss. has had some decent wins, like Ian Kutaleba, which many kind of people say was a robbery, but then he destroyed the corpse of Paul Craig after, which again, not really great wins, but Krylov's chin is cooked. I think I'm going to go with Modestas Bukauskas by round 1. Could see round 2 if Krylov kind of fully commits to mixing and the grappling, but I just don't have enough confidence in his chin to survive over 3 rounds. So the dude's done. That chin is fucking cooked, man. Modestas Bukauskas, he has the death touch. He has the death touch, I'm telling you. He's going to win. And people forget, man, Nikita Krylov used to kind of be a force in the division. Like before the injuries happened and age kind of fucked him over, but whatever. Modestas Bukauskas, he wins by knockout. Again, this guy's not some knockout artist with like insane power, but he's just fighting absolute like bums or dudes who were so past their prime that I don't really know how you could pick them to win. So I'm going Modestas Bukauskas by round 1 finish. Just take this guy by knockout. It's free. I don't even know why he's a slight favorite. It's not even going to be close. Up the card we go to Ateba Gautier versus Andre Pulyaev. How the fuck does Ateba Gautier even make 185? Does anybody know? I mean, this guy's a monster, man. He's a legit freak. He's a legit freak, this guy. It's almost bizarre how much natural power Ateba Gautier possesses. That being said, round 1 finish. Pulyaev, I'll say this about him. He's fought some names in the division, lost to Chris Leroy Duncan on the Contender Series, and then finished Nick Klein in his UFC debut. But it's just kind of ridiculous that we keep saying Gautier versus Cans. Like that Tristan Vines fight was one of the funniest fights of all time, where Ateba Gautier was literally defending a takedown, chucked him off, and Tristan Vines literally collapsed. And also, don't forget, Tristan Vines was shooting for takedowns from like 10 feet away. Like he was running back and forth in the fight, like he was running the ropes in WWE, like Undertaker warming up when he's 50 for a WrestleMania fight. Like he was just running back and forth, doing nothing. Guy got nuked. Pulyaev. Why I keep messing this guy's name? Andre. I don't think he could fraud check this dude. Like, he's a decent kickboxer, but can't really grapple that well, and you kind of need that against Ateba Gautier. The bar's low for him. Like, he just needs to not shoot takedowns from 10 feet away, and he'll already do better than Tristan Vines did, and he should at least not embarrass himself in that way. But again, Ateba Gautier fucking punches like a kangaroo. He's got the death touch. He's just going to bomb this guy as soon as he touches him. I think there's a sneaky chance it gets to round 2 if, like, you know, Pulyaev is just kind of hesitant on the feet and gun shy and just keeps kind of circling away from Gautier. But face it, whatever Ateba Gautier wants to end this fight, the fight will end. As soon as his hand connects with this dude's face, this guy's chin is going to shatter Mortal Kombat style, and Ateba Gautier will have his hand raised, and we'll probably feed him another can shortly after this. I don't even know why we can't give him like wash names. Like, why is Kelvin Gastelum not fighting this dude? Why are we just not giving him wash names? Why does he keep fighting just nobodies from random countries? Ateba Gautier, round 1 knockout. Back-to-back round 1 knockouts is going to be something. I'll leave it at that. Up the card we go to Umar Nurmagomedov versus Davison Figueiredo. And I feel, when I saw this matchup announced, I just felt bad for Figgy, because he really has no chance winning this. I'm going to take Umar by decision. Figgy's old. Like, he could still scrap and, like, has some power. He's just so small. Like, as a flyweight, I don't really think he stands any chance against an Umar Nurmagomedov in his prime, who's built out for the division. Like, Figgy can grapple well, has good jiu-jitsu, and, like, look decent against Montel Jackson in a fight where I didn't really think he was going to win. But he's facing a dude, again, who's just in his prime. I think Umar could pick him apart with his kicks. He can level change, get to your back so easily, just backpack Davison Figueiredo for 3 rounds if he wants to. And, like, even if Figgy can get, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Figgy could get a takedown off, and successful takedown off on Umar Nurmagomedov. But, like, Umar does a great job reversing position. It won't even matter. Figgy's just going to get picked apart. Will get out scrambled. It's going to get smudged. And this could just be the it for Davison Figueiredo against Umar. And that's fine. One of the best flyweights ever. You know, had moments at bantamweight. He's just old, and I don't know. I don't want to see you get chinned by Peyton Talbot or Mario Batista or something. Then I start to actually get sad for you. At least if you lose to Umar, it's whatever. I also could see a world, though, because in the last couple of Umar fights, this guy keeps getting chinned, but he always recovers. He has, like, instant recovery. He just has to get chinned once and he locks in. I could see Figgy, like, chinning this guy, like, halfway through round 1 And then Umar just figures it out, shoots the takedown, backpacks him, and smudges him for the win. Either way, Umar Nurmagomedov by 30-27, dominant decision. And that's the prelims right there. We just went through all the prelims pretty fast. I'm cool with that. We're taking Ty Miller by round 2 TKO. Cameron Smotherman by decision. Josh Hokit by decision. Alexander Hernandez by round 2 finish over Michael Johnson. Charles Johnson over Alex Perez by round 3. Brutal highlight reel KO with an uppercut. Modestas Bukauskas could just flick Nikita Krylov and he'll probably collapse. So that's pretty easy. Gautier, same thing. As long as he lands his pinky finger and does the skadoosh on Andre Pulyaev, he'll win this fight by knockout. And Umar's going to backpack Devison Figueiredo for 3 rounds and win by a dominant 30-27 decision. Up the card, we go to the first fight on the main card. And honestly, one of the fights I'm most excited for on this card. Arnold Allen versus Jean Silva. The battle of autism between men who were on 2 different sides of the spectrum. I don't know if you saw today. Jean Silva said he is actually autistic. Like, it's not even a joke. I want Arnold Allen to win. Jean Silva is kind of annoying, but he is so skilled, and I think he gets this done by late finish. This is kind of like a people forget man kind of matchup. I know I've made that joke a couple times today, because you kind of have Arnold Allen, who hasn't fought in a year and a half, but is really fucking good. Like, people do forget, man. This guy, like, arguably beat Movzar and went 5 rounds with Max. Then Jean Silva, who beats the shit out of everybody, but a lot of people shit on this guy after the Diego Lopez loss. Like, you kind of forget how talented this guy is in the striking department. Like, went up a weight class to finish Drew Dober and Charles Jourdain. Can grapple, like, well defensively. We saw him kind of destroy Bryce Mitchell in grappling exchanges. But I think Arnold Allen just being on this long layoff, and, you know, he's a couple years older than Jean Silva, and the injuries have caught up to him. I think he's just going to lose because Silva's a lot sharper on the feet, can land nasty counters, and hurt him badly. I think he gets the late finish here. Arnold Allen, like, he can mix in the left high kick well, but he doesn't have, like, this insane variety of strikes that he's going to throw at you. Like, as he can mix in grappling as well, too, but I don't really see that neutralizing Jean Silva for 3 rounds, at least enough to get him a win. I think he can slow him down with it, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get a win. I think Silva's going to take advantage of the fact that Arnold Allen has that high guard and leaves his body exposed a lot. Silva has nice front kicks up the middle and kicks to the body. And Jean Silva destroys every southpaw he faces, and he counters them very well. He's a better athlete. He's more durable. Arnold Allen is too, but after this layoff and the injuries that he's had, I don't know how he's going to look necessarily in the octagon. Again, Allen can mix grappling in to try and slow down Jean Silva, but Jean Silva's got good takedown defense, and I think over time, he's just going to negate anything that Arnold Allen throws at him in grappling exchanges. And one thing that Arnold Allen does, and shout out to my boy Octagon Oracle on Instagram for this, Arnold Allen will, like, lunge forward, tilt his head to the right, drop his lead hand when he's trying to cover distance when he's striking, like when he's blitzing in. And Silva has a nasty check left hook, and that's one of his best weapons, and that's what he used to destroy Charles Jourdain in round 2. Movzar dropped Arnold Allen this way. I think Jean Silva's going to do the same thing to him and put out Arnold Allen cold. Just too good, more explosive athlete who just beats the shit out of every southpaw he fights. Arnold Allen's going to join the list of southpaws Jean Silva has destroyed, like Drew Dober. Jean Silva does enough to get this done. Wins by check left hook in round 3. Jean Silva by round 3 TKO. Up the card, we go to Natalia Silva versus Thug Rose Namajunas. I actually think this is a pretty decent matchup. I've got Silva here. I think both these women are pretty good. Rose has elite level footwork, but I just like Natalia Silva because she's younger. She's in her prime. Silva just destroyed Alexa Grasso and can land pretty big shots. Rose can use her high kicks effectively and her footwork to cut Natalia Silva off in the octagon. And she kind of has that, like, Harry Potter wizard level power where she can just drop chicks randomly, where she just throws it. She's got the death touch. She has the death touch. And we've seen her drop guys, but I just think she's too low output for me, and she chews people up with feints. That's kind of her game. She won't really throw enough. Silva can throw big kicks, add a ton, along with a ton of volume, can get physical, can defend takedowns, impose her will, and she does enough to win. I think this is a classic 29-28 decision for Natalia Silva, and that sets up a matchup with her versus Valentina Shevchenko for the belt. That'll be pretty exciting. Rose Namajunas claiming that, she'll get a belt if she'll get an opportunity against Valentina Shevchenko if she wins. Nobody wants to see that. Natalia Silva is significantly more exciting. Up the card, we go to Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Derrick the Black Beast Lewis. I gotta go with my boy Waldo here. And it really doesn't get much better than this. It's two Titans duking it out. The problem is, Waldo Cortes-Acosta isn't this Brazilian fat taxi cab driver that Derrick Lewis can just destroy and farm wins off of. Waldo has fat hands. He definitely has those. He has fast hands. He's athletic, has KO power, former professional boxer, has legitimate skill at heavyweight, and has fought legit names, can mix in the grappling and the clinch, and get into the and mix in the grappling and get into the clinch and do damage. And, KO Shamil Gaziev on short notice, beats Ante Dalia after getting poked in the eye, loses the decision to Sergey Pavlovich, but before that beat Sergey Spivak, beat Ryan Spann. And then if you look at, Derrick Lewis's recent resume, you got, finishes over Talison Teixeira, Rodrigo Nascimento, got blocked by Jailton Almeida, beats, what's his name? Rodrigo de Lima, or not Rodrigo, Oscar de Lima, whatever the fuck that guy's name is, got subbed by Spivak by triangle choke, lost to Pavlovich, lost to Gunn, lost to Tuivasa. His best win in recent memory goes all the way back to 2021, and that was over Curtis Blades. I think this fight plays out two ways for if Derrick Lewis were to win. He either gets a knockout within the first minute of round one, or he's down 2-0 going into round three, and then flukes a knockout at the very end of round three like he did against Alexander Volkov. It'll just be some insane KO. What worries me for Waldo in this fight, though, is he is very comfortable on the back foot. He's very comfortable getting put on the back foot and fighting right up against the cage. Lewis punishes a lot of dudes badly that way. And I think Lewis kind of has that natural power advantage, even though I don't think he's more athletic or fast than Waldo. I could see Lewis just bombing this guy with an overhand, and that's it. Dalia did clip Waldo and then poked him in the eye. So maybe he would have been on the way to a finish if he didn't poke Waldo Cortes-Acosta in the eye. And Derrick Lewis said he'll poke this dude in the eye. So fucking anything could happen. And if he wins, he's going to just pull out. He's going to pull out his cock and balls. We're one step closer to seeing his cock and balls. You've seen his ass. We're getting the whole package if he wins this. And another thing to note is Derrick Lewis is fighting for black people. And he doesn't like that Waldo says he's Dominican and not black. So that's another reason maybe you want to pick Derrick Lewis here, because that kind of random shit always works in Derrick Lewis's way. But I lean Waldo by round two or round one finish, because he's more in his prime, he's more athletic, and he isn't some bum Brazilian like Derrick Lewis has farmed wins off of. So I'm going to go Waldo Cortes-Acosta by round two finish. And honestly, round one probably makes more sense. But I do kind of want to see this fight at least get to a second round. Either way, really excited for this one. If Waldo wins, we're talking this guy's going to fight Volkov for a shot at the title. Or maybe they just give this dude a title shot straight up. I mean, Waldo is fucking electric. The fans love this guy. You tap into a different market with Latin America and the Dominican Republic. And Derrick Lewis, if he wins, then you're shit. He can also be in a similar position. So either way, the UFC's the big winner, because this is a great heavyweight matchup. Up the card, we go to the co-main event of Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. And originally, I was pretty nervous for Sean O'Malley here. I was nervous for the Sugar Show man, because I have a lot of respect for Song Yadong. But then I got in the lab, studied some film with the boys, and realized Song Yadong doesn't win big fights. Anytime he faces a legit contender like a Corey Sandhagen or a Petr Yan, he just kind of wilts a little bit under pressure and loses. Sean, I think, is too technical for him on the feet. Great movement, great footwork, great variety in his striking, and can kind of keep Song Yadong on the outside enough to win this fight. And again, I think Song Yadong is he's really athletic, and if you don't move around enough, he's going to fuck you up. But, jeez, I thought I saw God right there. There was a weird light that came out on the side of the screen. What was I saying? Oh, no. Song, I just think, is going to have a hard time cutting off Sean O'Malley with his elite footwork. We saw him struggle against guys who have elite level footwork and elite level striking like Petr Yan and Corey Sandhagen, who are some of the best in the business. Sean can also mix up a ton of kicks to the body and can mix in head kicks here and there to get through Song's high guard and disrupt them that way. And we've also seen Sean O'Malley throw that knee up the middle. We saw him do it to Chito Vera and to Pulyaev to counter that high guard and inflict a lot of damage. And again, Song, very athletic, can mix in grappling well, like has power. But I just struggle to see how he's going to be able to effectively blitz in on Sean O'Malley without getting tagged up really badly. Like, I think Song Yadong will have his moments. He'll probably land a big shot early. I wouldn't be surprised if Song Yadong comes out there in round one and kind of really is big game hunting for a finish, just to kind of feel out Sean O'Malley a little bit. But I think Sean does a good enough job keeping the distance in this fight, picking him apart from range. And I think Sean O'Malley is just going to get better as the fight goes on. As we get into that second and third round, he's going to be hitting that Sugar Show flow state. He's going to be saying, I'm the best in the world. He's going to be like, Dana, fly me to fucking Spain. I want to fight Ilia Topuria. That's the kind of version we're going to see from the Sugar Show. Song Yadong, very athletic, little ding dong. Not, probably little ding dong because he's Chinese. He probably has a small cock, but he's just a fucking blockhead of a thing. But I think Sean O'Malley's going to win this. Gets a late finish in round 3. He also can stuff whatever takedown Song Yadong sends at him. Like in that second Merab fight, he was doing it effectively. He's kind of had underrated takedown defense his whole career. It's a 3-round fight. I just struggle to see how Sean O'Malley loses a 3-rounder when he's been fighting a ton of 5-round wars lately. Big, sick KO for our boy Sean O'Malley in the 3rd round. And that's going to set up a scenario where I bet Dana White's going to be thinking to himself, man, the Sugar Show versus Purian at the White House sounds pretty intriguing. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Moving on to the main event, which I've made a whole video about if you want to go on this channel and actually see my entire breakdown for this fight. Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the interim lightweight championship. I'm not going to try and speak too much on this fight because, again, I have a video on it on the channel that kind of goes further in depth, but I like Justin Gaethje by 3rd round finish. If Paddy Pimblett wins this, I think it's by like 1st or 2nd round submission where he just takes Justin Gaethje to the mat really early and just drowns him. Again, I think Gaethje can stuff takedowns well. I think he has like a 68% takedown defense rating. Has the clear advantage on the feet, can mix in calf kicks really well. The only thing that worries me with his calf kicks, though, is that they're not non-telegraphed, and he kind of leans back a little too much, or I forget. He's very off balance when he throws them, so I could see Paddy maybe taking advantage of that. But Paddy Pimblett isn't this like traditional wrestler who's shooting for shots in the center of the cage and doesn't do a lot of shit in the clinch, you know what I mean? Should be a good scrap, though. I think he could just piece up Paddy Pimblett on the inside, damage him badly with uppercuts, mix in the calf kicks to slow the movement of Paddy. And hopefully Justin Gaethje also remembers that he has a jab, that he can use it, because his jab is pretty effective. We saw him use it to slow down Rafael Fiziev. Again, I'd almost rather Paddy win just to see Paddy versus Ilia. But I just think this might be too soon for Paddy Pimblett, facing a legit top 5 guy, one of the best lightweights we've ever seen in terms of this guy's never put on a boring fight, always puts on a show, as underrated fight IQ, kind of as underrated everything. I feel like you look at Justin Gaethje, you think he's just this dumb brawler, but he does have a lot of nice tactical stuff that he does on the feet. Now his jiu-jitsu sucks. Like Paddy Pimblett, if he gets him in that position that Rafael Fiziev had him with that inverted triangle, Paddy Pimblett will finish that submission and attack that arm and get a Kimura or an arm bar. Like, there's zero doubts there. But I think Justin Gaethje keeps it on the feet long enough and wins. He's going to show that he's old. He's not going to show that he's washed. That's what my motto is for Justin Gaethje in this, I think. And he's going to show levels to Paddy Pimblett. Again, Paddy isn't Max. He's not Charles. He's not Khabib. He's not Poirier. He's not really going to be I don't think he's going to be able to just dominate Justin Gaethje in those ways. Paddy it's too early for you. Too soon, kid. He does have nice kicks and knees. I just don't think it's at the same level of the opponents that Justin Gaethje has fought previously. I'm interested to see how Paddy Pimblett's chin holds up over 5 rounds. Obviously, the guy just keeps his hands so low, and that chin's all the way up. But either way, I think we're in for a really, really entertaining fight, honestly. I just think Gaethje's going to get it done. And it's not necessarily what I want, but it's what I think's going to happen. Again, Paddy Pimblett does have plot armor, though. That's something to note. If Paddy Pimblett wins this, it's solely because he just drowns Gaethje and maybe he's as good as we think. We all want to see Paddy versus Ilia. Maybe it's never meant to be, but either way, I'm taking Justin Gaethje by a third round finish. I think he has the obvious advantage of the striking, can mix it up with dominant, clinch work, calf kicks, can pick him apart from range if needed. And with his calf kicks, Paddy Pimblett, I just see struggling to really beat this guy up on the feet. His striking is not particularly good. And even if Paddy Pimblett gets him down, I do think there's a chance Gaethje can escape. He has really wild scrambles. We've seen him do it, against guys like Figueiredo, and who else has he gotten really taken down by that he showed wild? I don't know. I'm just thinking of recent memory, against guys like Figueiredo. I just think it's going to take a lot for Paddy to win this. Check out my full video if you want to see the full breakdown on Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. I feel like I've spoken so much about these dudes that I just want to keep it short for this video. But I got Justin Gaethje by third round finish. Excited for this scrap. Excited for this card. Let me know what you guys think of my picks down below. Thank you for all the support on the TikTok and the Instagram. Follow me there if you don't already. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. The doctor is signing off.